everybody, I hope you guys are all doing super duper well. Fall has set in here in St. Louis, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And with fall comes beautiful weather, and I have been taking full advantage of that this week. So let's get into it. I can see my house from up here. What a nice, pleasant fall Sunday. And things are starting to look good on this side of the house. Finally got the lift moved over this way. And now I finally have access to some of the most well-preserved wood anywhere on the house. This part of the cornice sees the smallest amount of weather. and therefore is the absolute most intact of all of the sides I've done so far. But let's get a little closer to it, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here we are. First three things to point out is almost all of these freeze boards here have been split right here. As you can see, there is no crack at all. It looks wonderful. Yes, sorry, my hands are an absolute wreck because I've been sanding. But that is the only board on the entire house that is not split down the middle. I mean, obviously when you cut a board from side to side and leave an inch on either side or 2 inches on either side, they're bound to split over time. And that's what happened to every single one of them except for this one. Same thing with the corbels. Usually they have little splits in them. This one has some smaller ones, but they're extremely minor, especially comparatively to the other ones. And then these little rounded shapes here on the insides of the corbels. These are usually pretty badly chewed up, and I don't think I'll even have to wood fill that one at all. It looks almost perfect. So quite impressed with all that. And you can see I stopped and kind of split this whole piece down the middle. There's two reasons I did that. The first being, you can see just how much change there is once you get all this paint off of here. I mean, the details become so much more defined. So it just shows you guys how much hard work goes into just getting the paint off of something like this. It takes a long time. But as you can see on the result on the right, it's really worth it. Second reason being, because of the gutter here, I really had to focus a lot in this little cubby back here. Of course, there's no woodwork back there at the moment because I've just removed it. It was kind of too difficult to work back there, and it needs some repairs I can't do up here in the air. For context, here's most of the pieces over there. This doesn't include the dental molding that actually ended up falling off the house. Again, thank you, squirrels and pigeons. They've done a really bad job on this far corner. Pigeons have been living in here because I've seen them fly out of there. They're getting evicted very, very soon. I'm sure they're already angry at me being up here, but no pigeon has tried to attack me yet, so that's good. But this piece here is actually somewhat unique on the house. It goes right there behind the gutter. You can kind of see the white line where it would fit. And essentially all it is, as you can see, the corbels are made up of 4 boards. The 2 outer boards and the 2 inner boards. The outer boards look like that. And this is essentially just one outer board. And really the only reason they did that was just for aesthetic reasons, but it's a kind of a nice little piece. I kind of really like the idea that they did this though, because it kept the cornice from just stopping abruptly, and it kind of kept it going back kind of into the wall, which I think really added a nice level of beauty. Definitely added quite a bit more to the detail portion of the house, which I think is really cool. But this one here has some pretty bad breaks on these little cuts. You can see the line there and the line there, and then the back is not doing so great. The other parts of that are in my bag right here. So I've secured those. They'll just have to be glued back on here, and of course a little bit of wood fill is in order just to get this thing ready to go back up there and be part of the house again. But luckily, again, just like the rest of this wood up here, not rotten, so thank goodness for that. Now all that leaves us with is some little bits of paint here, a tiny bit of paint under here. This is all wood filler, so that's actually paintable right now, and then this section right here. So we are really and truly on the home stretch of stripping the cornice up here. And again, all the other woodwork up there is getting completely replaced. It is absolutely garbage at this point and really broken. And same thing with all this, mostly because of the ends here. Thank you again, squirrels. But that's it. That's the last little bit. And I am so close to being done with this. Oh, it's a good feeling. So very happy to be almost done with this process. It's been extremely tedious. Extremely tedious. But, I mean, the results speak for themselves. It is looking so much better. Now let's go to that part where I was working on last week, because some color has been applied and oh my goodness, it's looking so much better as well. So let's go check that out. Oh, this week was quite a good one, I have to say. The weather stayed really nice all week, and I had plenty of time to get up there and really focus on getting the last little bits of the mansard, at least the corners of the mansard roof done, which of course makes a huge difference. I mean, that cornice now, from side to side, you can see it's just wrapped in that really beautiful emerald green color, which I've really grown to love. I love it a lot. I think it looks amazing. I hope you guys do too. I did get the final third color, which is a oxide brown, which will go at the very top of the cornice and kind of all over the place. You'll see there's areas of wood that are completely unpainted up there. That's because I've been waiting for this to arrive in the mail. So we'll have our 3-color combo together on the roof next week. So we'll at least be able to see what the colors will look like all together, all laid out. And hopefully it looks as good as it does in the render that I made. But really exciting stuff. Really, really happy with how it's all turning out. So here I am back inside. You can see that piece that I was talking about that came off the house that happened to lift with me. And these are the two from my little bag that I keep with me on the lift that has all my tools. And that more or less is how it should look if the 3 pieces are all combined. So I'm gonna have to get into this very soon. There of course is the issue of this being really far gapped below this. So I'm gonna have to pry these 2 pieces back up. So I've got a nice flat smooth surface, and of course clamp and, well, glue and clamp this whole thing together. That way I can bring everything kind of nice and tight and together and perfect again. Or at least, you know, sort of perfect. I mean, let's be honest, when we're about 40 feet up, everything looks pretty perfect from that far away. So minor imperfections are really not a problem. Also, this is 130 plus years old, so, you know, it can have a little bit of imperfections. But I'll have that repaired next week, and it'll be going back up, well, just as soon as it needs to. When I start working back on that part of the house with Eric, it goes back up. I did want to share with you guys 2 items I did acquire this week that I think are really cool. Yes, they are machines. No, they are not gigantic ones, but yes, they are antiques, and I think they're really fascinating, so let me share them with you. So what I'll be discussing with you guys today is these 2 treadle-based tools. This one here is a treadle scroll saw, and this one over here is either a treadle polisher, which has a polishing wheel on it at the moment, or a buff wheel, or you could, I guess, put a grinder on it. What this attachment is, not quite sure, but, you know, it's there. But, you know, that's where you guys come in. Let me know what this part's for. But Caleb, you might ask, what is a treadle? A treadle is these little foot pedals. You might notice they're actually conveniently shaped like feet, or at least that one is. Essentially, these are foot-powered machines. They're human-powered machines. And they come from about the era as the rest of my tools do. These are probably from the early 1900s. And if my larger, crazy molders and joiners and all those other machines that you guys see me acquire, if those are the top of the line, this is more consumer grade. But I find them extremely fascinating. They have all the gears and mechanics that you would find on some of the larger machines, just on a much smaller scale. And they're even belt driven, this one having a bit of a round belt. And this one a very, very tiny little flat belt. But if you put your foot on the pedal and push down, the flywheel starts moving, as you can see it moving there in the shadow. The belt starts going, runs up here through holes in the table, and boom, you got a buff wheel. And, you know, the faster you get it going, the faster you pedal, the faster it goes. But as you can see, I mean, they're just really interesting little mechanical bits. And while yes, an electric version of both of these machines do exist, you can go to any big box store and buy one. But that wouldn't be nearly as fun. And this way I get a little bit of a workout while I cut certain little things. But both tools work, they work quite well. Scroll saw wise, you can see, because that's such a thin blade, you can make nice, very delicate little cuts. This is just a little shim. I have some of these lying around, and they're thin enough to work really well on this quite dull blade, I'll have to say. So the blade will have to be replaced on that. And on the tiny little buff wheel, you can see one of these sides is shinier than the other. So it does work, and that was, I don't know, achieved in about 2 minutes. So, I mean, the things do quite a good job. And of course they do. Lastly, as far as manufacturers are concerned, I'm not actually sure of either manufacturer. This one does say The Star on the front of it. I'm almost positive that isn't the manufacturer. I think that is the name of the tool. And this one has absolutely 0 markings. So, yeah, not sure. But I have to say it is it is quite nice to be able to have tools that are extremely easy to pick up. In fact, I can do it one-handed, so that's kind of nice. So these are easy if I need to move them around. They're just easy to handle, unlike everything else I own. You know, if it's under 1,000 pounds, I'm pretty happy. So that's gonna do it for this week's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Fall is just my favorite time of the year because the weather is so nice, and then of course when you live in a place with 4 seasons, you get all the color changing of the trees and the leaves, and yeah, it's just a fantastic time of the year. So as always, guys, thank you guys so much for being here, so much for following this crazy little adventure. About to be a bunch of big changes very rapidly in the very near future. I foresee a lot of cold days on the lift in the very near future. But not to worry, I have gloves, I have a jacket, and we will carry on. Whatever it takes, I will get that Mansard roof looking amazing. And I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to show y'all. So until then, I'll see you guys all next time. Bye-bye.